Today I have two very special guests here today. These are my two littlest sisters,
Millie
and
Mavie.
And we are going to be reading The Willoughbys to you today. And we're just going to try to get through chapter 1. The Willoughbys is by Lois, Lowry, and we are so excited to share this story with you. But before we begin, we have one short message that someone special would like to share with you. Go ahead, Maeve.
So I know the COVID-19 and coronavirus is going on, but we're going to get through this. So I hope you guys like this story, and if you do, watch the story if you want to.
Awesome. Nice. That was very awesome. All right, Millie, do you have anything you want to share? All right, that's fine. You let us know. Okay, we're going to get started. So, The Willoughbys by Lois Lowry. It's a novel nefariously written and ignominiously illustrated by the author. Okay, so if there's an illustration, I'll try to show it to you. All right. The Willoughbys by Lois Lowry. You guys see it? Now, I am not good at German, so I apologize to any of my German friends out there that are watching, and I apologize to anyone that knows how to pronounce in German. This is the love letter or dedication from the author. It says, Für mein Deutschen Mädchen, Nadine und Annika. So I believe that's Nadine and Annika. Maybe one of you can translate it for us. We would love to hear what it means. We're excited. Okay, we have a table of contents for anyone that's curious. Those are our text features. The Willoughbys. Chapter 1, The Old-Fashioned Family and the Beastly Baby. Once upon a time, there was a family named Willoughby, an old-fashioned type of family with 4 children. The eldest was a boy named Timothy. He was 12. Barnaby and Barnaby were 10-year-old twins. No one could tell them apart. And it was even more confusing because they had the same name. So they were known as Barnaby A and Barnaby B. Most people, including their parents, shortened this to A and B. And many were unaware that the twins even had names. There was also a girl, a timid, pretty little thing with eyeglasses and bangs. She was the youngest, just 6 and a half, and her name was Jane. They lived in a tall, thin house in an ordinary city, and they did the kinds of things that children in old-fashioned stories do. They went to school and to the seashore. Well, we don't go to the seashore, but that's okay. They had birthday parties. Occasionally, they were taken to the circus or the zoo, although they did not care much for either, excepting the elephants. Their father, an impatient and irascible man, went to work at a bank each day, carrying a briefcase and an umbrella, even if it was not raining. Their mother, who was indolent and ill-tempered, did not go to work. Wearing a pearl necklace, she grudgingly prepared the meals. Once she read a book, but found it distasteful because it contained adjectives. Occasionally, she glanced at a magazine. The Willoughby parents frequently forgot that they had children and became quite irritable when they were reminded of it. Tim, the eldest, had a heart of gold, as many old-fashioned boys do, but he hid it behind a somewhat bossy exterior. It was Tim who decided what the children would do, what games they would play. We'll have a game of chess now, he occasionally said, and the rules are that only boys can play, and the girl will serve cookies each time a pawn is captured. How they would behave in church. Kneel nicely and keep a pleasant look on your face, but think only about elephants, he told them once. Whether or not they would eat what their mother had cooked. We do not like this, he might announce. And they would all put down their forks and refuse to open their mouths, even if they were very, very hungry. Once, his sister whispered to him privately after a dinner they had refused to eat, I liked it. But Tim glared at her and replied, It was stuffed cabbage. You are not allowed to like stuffed cabbage. Oh, right, Jane said with a sigh. She went to bed hungry and dreamed, as she often did, about becoming older and more self-assured so that someday she could play whatever game she liked or eat any food she chose. Their lives proceeded in exactly the way lives proceeded in old-fashioned stories. One day, they even found a baby on their doorstep. This happens quite often in old-fashioned stories. The Bobbsey twins, for example, found a baby on their doorstep once, but it had never happened to the Willoughbys before. The baby was in a wicker basket and wearing a pink sweater that had a note attached to it with a safety pin. "I wonder why Father didn't notice it when he left for work," Barnaby A. said, looking down at the basket, which was blocking the front steps to their house, when the four children set out one morning to take a walk in the nearby park. "Father is oblivious, you know that," Tim pointed out. "He steps over any obstructions. I expect he poked it aside." They all looked down at the basket and at the baby, which was sound asleep. This is the part in the story where I'm going to ask you to make some inferences. Maybe you want to pause where we're at right now, but go ahead and talk about what you think might happen. And I have two people right here that I'm going to ask too. So, an inference is a prediction that you have or something that you think is going to happen in the story. So, right now, they just looked down at the basket and found a baby that was asleep. What do you think they are going to do?
Take it home.
You think they're going to take it home? Okay. What do you think?
I think they're going to try to take it home, but I think Tim's not going to let them.
You don't think Tim's going to let them?
I don't think Tim will let them either,
Yeah?
but I think the mom would like it.
You think the mom will like the baby?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's read to find out. Those were very good inferences. Thank you. They pictured their father taking a high step over it after moving it slightly out of his way with his furled black umbrella. "We could set it out for the trash collector," Barnaby B. suggested. "If you take one handle, A, and I take the other, I believe we could get it down the stairs without much trouble. Are babies heavy?" Are they heavy?
Not really.
No, unless they're really old.
Unless they're like older babies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Avery's really heavy.
Yeah. Shout out to Avery. "Please, could we read the note?" asked Jane, trying to use the self-assured voice that she practiced in secret. The note was folded over so that the writing could not be seen. "I don't think it's necessary," Tim replied. "I believe we should," Barnaby B. said. "It could possibly say something important." "You don't," Tim said to him. "Ransom notes are sent by the ones who have the baby." "Maybe we could send one then," said Barnaby A. "Perhaps it says the baby's name," said Jane. Jane was very interested in names because she had always felt she had an inadequate one with too few syllables. "I would like to know its name." The baby stirred and opened its eyes. "I suppose the note might give instructions about babies," Tim said, peering down at it. "It might say where to put them if you find one." The baby began to whimper, and then very quickly the whimper changed to a yowl or a scream. "Or," said Barnaby B., holding his ears, "how to keep them from screeching." "If the note doesn't tell the name, may I name it?" asked Jane. "What would you name it?" Barnaby A. asked with interest. Jane frowned. "Something with 3 syllables, I think," she said. "Babies deserve 3 syllables. "Brittany?" Barnaby A. asked. "Possibly," Jane replied. "Madonna?" Barnaby B. suggested. "No," Jane said. "Taffeta, I think." By now, the baby was waving its fists, kicking its chubby legs, and crying loudly. The Willoughby's cat appeared at the front door, gazed briefly down at the basket, twitched its whiskers, and then dashed back inside as if it was made nervous by the sound. The baby did sound a bit like a yowling kitten. Perhaps that was why. Tim finally reached down past the flailing little fist and unpinned the note. He read it silently. "The usual," he said to the others. "Pathetic. Just what I expected." He read it out loud to them. "I chose this house because it looks as if a happy, loving family lives here, prosperous enough to feed another child. I am very poor, alas. I have fallen on hard times and cannot care for my dear baby. Please be good to her." "Take the handle, twins," Tim said to his brothers. He took hold of the opposite handle. "Jane, you carry the note. We'll take the whole disgusting thing inside." That's not very nice.
No,
It's not very nice.
it's not very nice at all.
No. Jane took the folded note and followed behind her brothers, who picked up the basket, carried it into the front hall of the house, and set it there on an oriental rug. The noise coming from the baby was not insignificant. Their mother, frowning, opened the door at the end of the long hall. She emerged from the kitchen. "Whatever is that noise?" she asked. "I am trying to remember the ingredients for meatloaf and I cannot hear myself think." "Oh, someone has left a beastly baby on our front steps," Tim told her. "My goodness, we don't want a baby," their mother said, coming forward to take a look. "I don't like the feel of this at all." "I'd like to keep it," Jane said in a small voice. "I think it's cute." "No, it's not cute," Barnaby A said, looking down at it. "Not cute at all," Barnaby B agreed. "It has curls," Jane pointed out. Their mother peered at the baby and then reached toward the basket of beige knitting that she kept on a hall table. She removed a small pair of gold-plated scissors and snipped them open and closed several times thoughtfully. Then she leaned over the basket and used the scissors. "Now it doesn't have curls," she pointed out, and put the scissors away. Do you know what just happened?
Yes, the mother cut the baby's hair.
Yes. Oh my.
She cut the hair.
I'm going to take a short pause in the audience and I'm going to ask you, what do you think the mother's character traits are?
That she doesn't want a baby.
She doesn't want a baby.
Angry.
She might be an angry mom. She might be
And
an angry mother.
she cut the baby's hair, which you shouldn't have done because, well,
It's
you
a baby.
shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
If you knew not to do it, you shouldn't have done it.
So we're going to have to keep reading. Jane stared at the baby. Suddenly it stopped crying and stared back at her with wide eyes. "Oh, dear, it isn't cute without curls," Jane said. "I guess I don't want it anymore." "Take it someplace else, children," their mother said, turning back toward the kitchen. "Dispose of it. I'm busy with a meatloaf." The 4 children lugged the basket back outside. They thought. They discussed the problem. It was Barnaby A, actually, who came up with a plan, which he explained to Tim, since he made all the decisions for the group. And that is where we're going to stop today. The next time we read, we will hear what Barnaby A's plan was. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you for reading part of Chapter 1 with us today. We are excited to see you again tomorrow. Bye! Oh, 1 second. Yes, go ahead.
And we hope you guys have a wonderful day today.
Thank you. What about you? What would you like to say?
Hope you guys have fun listening to these read alouds in quarantine.
You guys are great. Thank you. Bye!